Hi and welcome to the channel. My name is Tasos Koidis and I'm a lecturer in food science and nutrition. Today we're going to talk about something sensitive. We're going to talk about what things have changed after Natasha's death eating a Pret-a-Manger sandwich in Heathrow Airport back in 2018. It is estimated that 7% of children have a severe food allergy and 2% of the adults, in most cases, in most of the developed countries, such as the UK, would have a food allergy. When something such as a death of a lovely young child happens, people are rightfully shocked. In July the 17th, 2016, Natasha Ednan-Laperouse, an 18-year-old girl from England, was going on a holiday with her family in Nice, France. The family stopped at a Pret-a-Manger shop in Heathrow Airport and she grabbed an anti-choke olive and tapenade baguette. She became extremely ill during the flight. Mid-air, her father used 2 EpiPens on her to push adrenaline in her body as she was having problems breathing and she was going into anaphylactic shock and cardiac arrest. Unfortunately, the 2 EpiPens didn't have the right concentration of adrenaline and also they didn't go into required depth to cause the right amount of response in her body. So the EpiPens, the needle didn't go deep enough to turn the situation around essentially. As soon as the plane landed, she was rushed in a hospital in Nice where she sadly died a few hours after. So what happened exactly and why? Let's see again the case. Natasha was extremely allergic to sesame, and she was aware of that since a young age. And sesame is one of the 14 most dangerous allergens, including peanuts, eggs, and other, that must be labeled in retail, in food packages, everywhere. However, the Pret-a-Manger shop didn't have any allergen advice on its wrapper, and it was not in fact necessary to do that by law at that point. How come the legislation failed us? How come the legislation failed Natasha? To understand this, we need to understand how sandwiches were supposed to be labeled and display any allergen information at the time and even today. For pre-packed sandwiches from the supermarket, let's say, the label must list the full ingredients, including allergens. For over-the-counter sandwiches, if they are made to order in front of you, it does not need a label. Pre-prepared sandwich is a different story. If it is freshly made on the premises and it's not pre-packed, it is sold to you pre-packed but made on the premises the same day, let's say early in the morning, it did not need a label at the time. Just a sign displayed nearby, near the tills for example, prompting the customers to ask about allergens if they want to. This is the type of sandwich that Natasha took on that day. There was an inquest. Pret-a-Manger sincerely apologized and confirmed that at that day, products were not being individually labeled with allergen or ingredient information. They said that there were signs in the fridge and at till points telling customers with allergies to speak to a manager for advice or to see its allergen guide, which I guess they had. Were the signs visible? The family says no, and I believe them. It was quite a busy day. It was the first opening of the summer holidays after schools ended, and it was quite busy at Heathrow Airport. And we all know how a busy airport can be and how things like that can be perhaps sidetracked. But the shocking thing is that the legislation allowed it, Pret-a-Manger, at that time not to label these type of sandwiches. And guess what? It still allowed it today to be not displaying perhaps any allergen information whatsoever if they are prepared like that. So in the face of law, they were clear. The business was not obliged to label the sandwiches and they could have done it, I guess, on a voluntary basis, but they were not forced to do it by law. This is the difference. The UK Food Regulation 2014 that governs this was adopted from the EU Food Information Regulation of the same year. This regulation is valid today, by the way. Now, don't rush and blame the EU because the EU rules that individual member states which was the UK at the time, they are supposed to decide on how information about non-pre-packed food is provided to the customer, using their own small rules if they want to. Well, the UK have chosen not to expand on that at all. It was their decision. It was our decision. So why the legislation such as this have loopholes? Every legislation comes into effect after consultation with the food industry, with consumers, with other bodies, and it is a long process. In that instance, it allowed businesses to simplify allergen information on these type of products, considering their workload and complexity that such labeling might create for them. And I get it. That's what the law were at the time. And right or wrong, we should say that Pret-a-Manger followed the law. Didn't go the extra mile and label it on the top of what the law required, but the law required this. It was come together after a consultation with the industry. The UK and other countries were given some flexibility to define it even more, and they have chosen not to. I guess you can say that the legislation went all the way for pre-packed foods, but they went halfway when it comes to foods and sandwiches that are prepared on the premises, that are over the counter, such as the one that Natasha took that day. What has changed since then? Number one is that Pret-a-Manger apologized, and they went on and they put food allergen information to all of their packages, to all of their stores, no matter if it is a pre-packed sandwich or if it is a sandwich that is prepared on the premises on the day. Number two is that the parents of Natasha, Nadim and Tanya Ednan-Laperouse, they campaigned for years for the law to change, and now their daughter's legacy is gonna become a law. The new UK law on food information, it's dubbed Natasha's law, and it will come into force in a few months, in October 2021. According to this law, the food businesses must declare allergens in the food label, no matter how the foods were prepared. So this is a milestone for everybody. And the third is that the parents of Natasha founded a charity. It's called the Natasha Allergy Research Foundation, a charity to fund and support allergy research. Their message is clear: never underestimate food allergies. Thanks for sticking until the very end with this video. It was a bit of a heavy subject. Natasha's legacy lives on. It will become a law now, and a lot gonna change in the food industry because of that. Sometimes things like that need to happen for awareness to be created. Unfortunately, this is the case, and for the legislation to change. In this time, it will cost Natasha's life. Well, let it be the last life that is lost in food allergies here in the UK and globally. Thanks a lot for your support. I left links down below in the charities and the foundations and other links that help me with my research, so do check them out. If you found value in this video, consider subscribing for more quality content coming up your way. For now, thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!